Entitled parent wants me to stop dealing with a medical issue. First post, here we go. A bit of context. I'm terrible at titles. I have type 1 diabetes, and I manage it using a pretty neat device called an Omnipod. It's a small pod that you fill with insulin before sticking it to your arm for 3 days. It's all controlled through a remote, but the pod only lasts 3 days. This is typically fine, as I change the pod itself during the evening, so it doesn't mess with my day at college. However, if the pod fails, it emits a long loud beep that will continue to sound until the pod is deactivated and replaced. I also want to mention that I travel to college on a train, and I normally grab a seat with a table so I can do my work or just stretch my legs a little. The train is pretty early morning, so not many people are on the train. So it's day 2 of my 3-day pod, and I'm sat at a table with my laptop out, reading a short story. This kid, K, and their parent, Eb, are sat at the table across from me and have been fine for the duration of the travel. This kid is about 6 or 7, so bear with. That is until my pod fails, giving off the ear-piercing scream I've come to hate. Standard procedure is to whip out the remote, stop the pod, and start a new one. Filling a pod is a little complex. First you take a syringe with a small needle and draw from a small vial of insulin. Then insert the needle into the pod and fill. From the outside looking in, it's a bit weird, but it's honestly the best they could do. Anyway, Kay notices this and begins to look a bit fidgety. The parent looks at me, and I get the feeling something's not right. Eb, what are you doing? Me, I'm type 1. I'm just filling an insulin pump. It's kinda urgent, but it won't take long. Eb, can't you do that someplace else? Me, not really. The toilets are rather dirty and don't have a lot of room to do this, and it needs to be done now. Eb, well, it's upsetting my kid. She's beginning to raise her voice a little. Me, I'm very sorry about that, but I need to do this. I'm dependent on it. I hear nothing more, so I assume everything is alright until I start priming the pod. Priming is when the pod bleeds out any air from the insulin tank, as you don't want bubbles being pushed into your arm. And for some reason it always makes this loud snap as it does it. No idea why. P. This snap startles the kid a little, who is still watching, mind you. K. Mommy, what was that? Eb. Well, what was that? Me, no clue. It's after the priming that the fun begins. The pod has to fire a needle into my arm. It's quick, but hurts like hell sometimes, and even I jump and swear at it, despite having it for about 5 years. Me, sorry, this might startle him a bit. I still have no idea why I'm being so polite. I fire the pod's needle and jump at the quick pain. I didn't swear, but it was painful, so I sit and rub my arm a little. This kid did not like that. He gets very distressed, asking his mother what had happened and what that thing on my arm was. Eb, why did you startle him like that? The poor thing is scared half to death. He's very sensitive to these things. Me, I'm very sorry about that mess, but I need to do this. I'm insulin dependent, and this pod is what keeps me alive. Eb, is everyone from your generation a druggie then? Honestly, I would have thought that going to school would beat these things out of you, but apparently not. Me, miss, I'm not a druggie. I have a pretty serious condition that I'm trying to deal with. I'm getting pretty annoyed now, but I wasn't in the mood to raise my voice, especially with the kid around. I can get really loud and really angry very quickly. Eb, if it's so serious, then why are you on a public train? I don't want K to catch your disgusting germs. Me, diabetes is not contagious. This seems to shut her up for all of 2 seconds before she continues. Eb, well, you shouldn't be doing something like that in a public place. Me, and why not? I was getting a little more pissy. Eb, because it may upset people. I had it. Me, very sorry about your insecurities and baseless prejudice against people who are different, but not all of us are perfect individuals with not a flaw with it all, and feel the need to call people out for helping themselves live, just to please a spoiled brat and shelter them from the harsh reality that not everyone is healthy. Eb stares at me. Me, I hope to God you never take that kid outside. He might collapse from all the people who are different. Imagine his face when he sees people with missing limbs. It'd shatter his worldview. Bear in mind I have a younger cousin, and whenever she gets sarcastic, she puts on this overly posh, overly dramatic voice and starts acting like Freddie Mercury. Think rarity but with sarcasm. Ep does not back down. Ep, how dare you talk to me like that, you little bastard. It's not my fault you were born a defect druggie and are having to justify it. Noticing we had reached the final stop, I grabbed my things and turned back to the Ep. Me, I'm very sorry to hear about your insecurities, but I must be off to college. Have a swell hate-filled day. With that, I left, in a sour mood and definitely a lot more deflated than I was before the indecent. I honestly feel sorry for the kid, having a mother like that, but hey, at least I got to vent some steam. Also, I never saw Ep again. Turns out the train guards, one of whom was my father, had heard about the issue and had a quiet word with her about manners. Nothing serious, but just a quiet word warning that if she ever did something like that again, she'd be kicked off at the next stop. This was one of the first encounters I've had with an entitled parent, but at least she didn't try to take the pod away from me so her child could play with it XD. Edit, forgot to mention that, after swearing to me, her child looked at her in shock, like he had always been told never to swear, so watching his own mother swear must have been a strange experience. Hope he doesn't end up like her. You are annoying. Entitled parent dismisses disabled gamer due to stutter. Edit note, I have Asperger's, as well as a stutter. Hi, I'm gonna just drop this here, since I think it fits as the behavior seems to match Ep standards. Cast, Mimi or A, M entitled mother, Eb entitled boy slash brat, T friend slash cashier. Okay, so this was around May 2018, and I had gotten bored of Destiny 2's excessive grind, since my stuttering often got me kicked from fire teams slash parties, and I was tired of playing solo. I decided that I would try something a bit different, and headed out to game to buy something else. This becomes relevant later. After buying a sandwich and then heading to game, I start to browse the PS4 section. After pulling out BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma and Fallout 4, I headed to the checkout with what I wanted. Enter M and Eb. They were behind me in the line, but there were two cashiers working the tills in the back. I step up after a tall guy's done trading in his Xbox One games, and go to greet T, as he knew me for a while. Note, I was a regular, so I got quite friendly with some of the workers. They were super nice and patient. T, hey, come for a new game again. I thought you were still on D2. Me, yeah. Got bored of solo play. Always being kicked. I struggle on his S's and R's with my stutter. T, show me what you're getting. Me, showing him BlazBlue and Fallout 4. I then struggle through asking about if these games come with DLC. M behind me gets angry and says things like spit it out, hurry up, and other things like that. I became visibly uncomfortable. T then tells M that there's another till open, but M ignores it, and another person goes to the other till, taking her place, since she wasn't moving. She got angrier. Eb, he's taking too long. M, I know sweetie. He's annoying me too. I pulled up the hood of my hoodie to avoid further eye contact. T, don't worry A, I understand. I'll get you the season passes for your games on a discount. I smile a bit and give him a thumbs up and mouth to him a thanks. T is grinning. M, why does this guy get a discount? Just because he's a retard he gets a discount? I flinch slightly, fighting my urge to punch her. My fists were clenched, and T noticed. T quickly rammed my stuff through and loaded my stuff into my backpack. He apologizes quietly, and I nod. I tell him it's not his fault. Oka the cashier noticed the outburst, and when M came up to buy her son Minecraft Story Mode and Black Ops 3, she's given disapproving glances by the workers. After her stuff was paid for, she was led out and told she wasn't allowed back here. T helped me to keep calm as I was bullied my whole life over my stutter. I didn't think someone could be that rude. Bratty girl wants my glasses. Entitled parents teach me a lesson. This is pretty long. I apologize. TL. Doctor at end. This all took place about 12 years ago. Let me set the scene for you. I'm about 18 at the time. I'm sat in a department store cafe. BHS for the Brits among us. They only have tables for 4 set up. So I'm sat with 3 spare seats. The cafe is pretty busy, so there aren't many free tables. I'm sat reading a book and eating a ham and cheese panini and drinking a pot of tea. In walks a family of 3, mum, Ep1, dad, Ep2, and a girl around the age of 10 over 11. BG. They go and get their food and start looking for a table. There aren't any free tables, so they come and sit at mine. They didn't ask if I minded or if the seats were free. I would have been perfectly happy to share if they asked, but I was slightly annoyed that they just sat down, but I just let them be and kept reading. Now I'm incredibly short-sighted. I can't even see the eye chart without my glasses on. I choose to make a statement with my glasses as they have been a part of who I'm for, as long as I remember. My glasses that day were a chunky plastic lime and dark green pair. I loved them as they looked amazing with my red hair and green eyes. BG starts talking to me about my book. I love reading, so happily engaged in conversation with her. So far so good. Then she asks me about my glasses. She asked me where I got them from. I said I got them from the opticians a few months ago. I thought it was a little odd to ask that as she didn't have glasses, but I tried to be polite. BG then asks if she can try on my glasses. I'm used to people I know asking to do that at university, as my glasses are fairly unusual. Like an idiot I agree and hand them over. BG grabs them off me rather roughly, and I ask her to be careful. Her parents have been ignoring her the whole time, and she yells at them to look at her trying them on. I can't see a damn thing at the moment, so I just wait for them to look and comment. However, BG complains that they hurt her eyes. I explained that they are prescription, so she wouldn't be able to see out of them, and ask for them back. BG ignores me and moves around the table to where her parents were sat. Ep1 asks if BG wants to look at herself in the mirror in my glasses. BG starts to complain that she can't see anything. A note here: I can't see what's happening. I found out later that Ep1 had pulled a mirror out her handbag to show her. I again say that I would like my glasses back as I need them to see, and they aren't a toy. Ep2 tells me I'm being selfish and she needs to see herself before she gives them back. I'm taken aback by him calling me selfish and say that I'm going to need them back right now. At this point I hear giggling and 2 pops. BG then starts laughing at how silly she looks. She then said that they at least look better on her than they did on me. I'm really confused about how she is seeing herself now. I hadn't realized what the pops were. I stand up and put my hand out and demand my glasses back. BG laughs and said she was going to keep them. I told her to stop playing and give me back my glasses. Ep1 then said, "You gave them to her, she's keeping them. Insert Pikachu face." I loudly said that I needed them to see and that she needed to give them back. Ep1 then said, "You only need this bit," and handed me the lenses from the glasses. Yep, those pops were them removing the lenses from my glasses. I saw red and screamed at them for breaking my glasses. F2 laughed and said the glasses were fine and I had the lenses back, so why was I complaining? His daughter wanted the frame as she liked them, so she was going to keep them and I could buy more. I started to cry, not my proudest moment, and said that the frames were £200 and I needed them back. They were not her property and I needed all of my glasses to see, not just the lenses. A member of staff came over and asked the parents to return my glasses. They started arguing that as I had given them to BG, she should be allowed to keep them. Hector then gets them off BG and laughs. I hear a snap and he hands me my frame snapped in half down the nose piece. The member of staff has at this point called for security and they arrived to see me in tears clutching my broken glasses and the parents and BG looking very pleased with themselves. The member of staff explained what happened and Ep2 states that I needed to be taught a lesson for being selfish. I was taken around the back of the cafe by the staff member and police were called. A lovely WPC drove me to the local opticians to see what could be done. They couldn't repair them, so the WPC drove me back to my student accommodation so I could get my spare pair and then to the station to make a statement. In the end I agreed not to press charges if they paid for a new pair of glasses in full, including new lenses, which they did. I wrote the WPC and BHS staff thank you letters and thankfully never saw that family again. I haven't let anyone try on my glasses since.